Okay,
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Finance and Administration Committee for June 10th, 2025. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interests?
None known.
Thank you. I don't believe we have any delegations.
No.
We can move to circulation of the prior meetings minutes. Were there any questions about those meeting minutes?
We approved them at the last council meeting,
Okay.
so we should be good.
Tasks carried forward then.
I didn't get a task list done this month, so.
I see that there's no health and safety inspection recirculated this month.
Right,
Thank you. Is there a reason why?
just the two people that were to do them last month just weren't able to find time to get them done. So they will be done this.
All right, we will move on to new business. The village grant policy.
So yes, we've made some recommended changes to that bylaw or that agreement. That I circulated for review. Basically, what I've done, I've set the limit at $7,500. Anything over $7,500 needs to go through the entire policy, answer all the questions. And then anything under 7,500, I have said, you need to be prepared to make a presentation back to council if they ask for one. But basically a letter to outline your application and what you're going to do with the money would be sufficient rather than the whole drawn out process. And then what else have I done here? I highlighted everything in yellow that was a change. So I've said, like, there's a piece that talks about submitting the grant application, and then that we reserve the right to ask for more information. So if there's something we want and that you put in your letter, but the village may come back to you and say, we need more specific information and we have the right to ask for that. It really doesn't change a whole lot. That $7,500 limit, and I don't know if that's the right number. We have two grants over that amount. The
Canada Day,
like the PIMA and the school are the
and
two.
Canada Day.
Canada Day, yeah, I didn't think of Canada Day because they didn't put anything in this year. So I'm not sure, but you're right. Last year they got, I believe, 10. So they may be, it might encourage them to ask for less than 10. They didn't put in a request this year.
There was some problems with who was running it. Somebody left.
Okay.
And they were looking for resources. I got a communication from them this week. So they had a hard time this year with the committee. Well, it's even after that. Somebody that replaced Rachel. Because Rachel's been gone for over a year.
How did you arrive at the 7,500?
Just that in a
Like
kind of
that.
a bit of evaluation of who is, like, what organizations are asking for the money. And like the lower amounts were more, how do I describe it? So, I mean, things like the Grand Fondo or
Pathways.
Pathways, Secret Santa, like those programs, all that money's for a specific program, where PIMA and the school council, they have a broader, it's not just understood what,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Projects.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those vary based on the year.
Yeah, and I mean, to get a report from Pathways is a good example. Like, we give them $2,000 because we're giving them $2,000 to support their Secret Santa. Do we need to know everything about that organization financially? Where PIMA, we're giving them 22,000. It's a fairly substantial portion of their overall budget. So that was kind of my thinking. And I don't know if it's the right number. I think that's why I added in the pieces about being able to ask for more information if we wanted it, because I think there's, there might be somebody that says, I'd like $5,000 for a specific thing, but then what, it might be to support a fundraiser, but then what does that fundraiser do, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I kind of reserve the right to ask for more information if we wanted it.
Yeah. Along that line of thinking, though, some of the language for sponsorships that are less than 7,500, it's like a little bit ambiguous, I would say, like should submit a detailed letter indicating. Maybe we can firm it up a little bit,
Shall.
something like that.
Will.
You know, just or will, must.
Must.
Must sounds a little pushy,
Yeah,
but it
like
you know,
will then must.
just so that they,
Yeah. No,
that they know that
I
they
want
have
it done
to, it's not an
appropriately.
option.
If you're asking for money, then you need to do the right
Yeah.
ask.
There are a couple spots in here that
Yeah.
were like that, very minor things, but easy to say, well, it doesn't say I have to. It says
Right.
I should.
So it's either, I think we should change it then. I see what you're saying for sure. So I think maybe shall submit if requested,
This is should
Right.
submit.
and maybe we don't need to put the,
Well,
If
what are we
requested.
requiring them to submit?
um,
What are they absolutely required to submit?
Well, in this paragraph where it says should submit a detailed letter, I just say they will submit a detailed letter if they're asking for money.
But he's saying that it's not necessarily needed.
I think it is.
That's
So-
why I was wondering if there was something else that we do need that could be in place of, or.
Yeah. And I'll move this document up there. Unfortunately, when I move it up there, I'm probably not gonna be able to read it.
For them to fill out.
Not really a form, it's just this,
Application, but
and yeah,
I wonder if we can make a form that is like something that's required, and then they can, of course, include something with it. It's essentially the same thing as this, the placement for filling in the
space to
answers.
put in, yeah. No,
And digital one's very easy to do,
mhm.
make it easier for
Yeah,
you to
no.
keep track of.
The guys just made a PDF form for PAP and EFT. So it's not, I mean, I don't know how to do it, but they know how to do it. And
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing this would not be much different.
No, absolutely not. And then they know what they have to fill out, because they can't submit it if it's not filled out.
Right.
Then you're asking everyone to fill out the same documents.
Well, there could, it would have
Yeah.
a spot likely that says, the amount that you're requesting. And if
Yeah.
it's over 7,500, that would make certain boxes necessary to fill out. Under would
Yeah.
not necessarily be required, right?
So this is like, in this document, that's, request profile and request details are kind of, so that's 16 pieces of information. So I see, like, basically we're putting those 16 questions on a document and answer these questions. There might be some duplication in there too.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, yeah, if there's duplication, we'll look at.
pare it down a little bit.
paring it down.
Yeah.
But I think that could make the whole process a lot easier.
Mhm.
People are used to filling out forms online, and if there's an asterisk, you have to fill
Yeah,
that one out or you can't continue.
Right.
It takes
Okay.
away all of the ambiguity around
Mhm.
should they, do they, will they,
but
they just have to.
I like that idea.
And if somebody needed help with the form, that's another story too,
Well, if you could get help.
Right, it's not like, oh, I,
Yeah.
don't know how to fill out this form. Oh, well, then I guess no grant for
Yeah.
you.
Right, come on in, we'll help you
Yeah.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
Above and beyond from.
So do you want to table this discussion to work on the form and bring the form back to the July meeting?
I like that idea.
We still have.
Personally, like, yeah, I mean, I'm asking for people to have this into us for by September 15th.
Okay.
So if if we go back and make a,
Mhm. And the nice thing too is it's easy to share forms with people that we know we usually sponsor for things. So if
Right.
we haven't heard from somebody, we can send them an email, send them a link to the form,
Mhm.
something like that, to kind of encourage them to complete it ahead of time.
Mhm. Okay, no, I like that a lot. Because this is, like these two documents that I circulated, there is a lot of
And then there's
repetition in them
no
too.
consistency with how they return it to you too. Some
Mhm.
people might email you with the answers to these questions, could be a PowerPoint, could be all sorts of things.
Yeah,
If it's a form, it's not hard to have the answers to a form go right to a spreadsheet, so you can see, okay, this is everything that is being requested, and then that sort of fills in a part of your,
Yeah.
your end,
Yeah.
without having to go through and add the numbers manually.
Yes,
If there are a lot of requests, obviously.
and also the form, once the form is still developed. So how is it possible for everyone, we are considered citizenship or the organization located on the community, is that correct? Or anywhere in Lambton County?
Anywhere in Lambton County that benefits, like, we donate money to Canada Day, for example,
Yeah,
which is,
or our neighboring kind of community, is in, for example, some organizations from St. Clair, they apply. Are we considering their application?
well, I think we're looking at ones that benefit the village and beyond,
Okay, that's.
not
And
necessarily.
that, if that's not already in here, that is
I
definitely,
saw it.
it's there for
Number
sure.
2. Under request
right,
details.
yeah. And that
Has
might
it-
be something we just change the language. around
Has
a
an
little bit.
impact on the village and or the county.
Yeah, so how does this impact Lambton County or the village of Point Edward?
Mhm.
And they can answer that. So I mean, it could be from anywhere, as long as it is having an.
Right, and then how they know, what, they need
Mhm.
access to see, so that's maybe the next
Mhm.
step. This form will be published on the website certain time as a city sign to start from August 1st to August 31st. So that's month, whoever is you can fill the form, but council and staff will make final decision you are qualified or not, right?
Yeah.
So rather than have it sent to you, and then of course I will have the opportunity to apply someone that have no idea this fund is available and that their potential cannot bring, positively in impact on our community. This is just my thought, so
Yeah,
that's.
absolutely, and that's something that we did discuss not too long ago as well in one of our council meetings. I do think that there needs to be some sort of outreach, but I do understand that we're limited, so if we do any sort of outreach, we might be opening a
Yeah,
Big
can of
can.
worms.
I feel like people that are fundraising need to understand where they should be looking.
And if anything, maybe local
Yeah.
outreach. Like we do have some community organizations that have not ever requested funding from us. They probably just don't realize they can. We could reach out to the local Point Edward based ones if we felt like we wanted to.
The other thing we can do, if we can find it, I know Tina used to keep a spreadsheet and it went back 15 or 20 years, every organization we've ever
Mhm.
given money to for the last 15 or 20 years. So that way you get a pretty fulsome picture of what we've done.
Mhm.
So we can see if we can find that sheet. I don't know exactly where it is.
When they are requesting grant, I'm just thinking, you are requesting grant. You should come, so now say, every grant is available.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, this is.
I feel like the onus is
I
on the
don't
group.
understand any can say, it sounds like they are, I just gonna manage their expectation, if we reach out to them, they are anticipating they will.
That we're probably gonna
receive a
give
grant.
them.
So that's
Yeah.
why available time there, we're doing
Mm,
everyone they ask, even though we can keep a 1 year or 2 year. Contact our, previous recipient, hey, the information is posted online and just take time and look at and fill the form as in.
Okay.
It's done.
So an email to the people who
The
applied within the
last
last 2 years. I think
years,
that's a great idea.
And
And also a disclaimer on the application that says that this is
no
not
guarantee,
guaranteed.
it's a limited resources we have.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that is generally, understood, but it never hurts to
Mhm.
put that in there.
Yeah, I think,
So there are some funding that like doesn't get advertised. So for example, I gave $300 to Northern to the basketball tournament
Mhm.
because the Bridgeview kids go there.
Yeah.
So that just comes out of the mayor's money.
Yeah.
And then to counteract, then I got one from what's the Catholic school? The Catholic high school,
St. Pat's.
St. Pat's, theirs was the girls tournament, gave them the same 300
Sure.
as a sponsorship.
Mhm.
So those, they
But those
just,
wouldn't be included in this.
no, they're not. No, I'm just saying there is other money that goes out.
Sure.
For people that are doing special events that would approach us, but they're usually tied to the community.
Yeah,
Like the
that's
school stuff.
donation, that's different.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of
but it's still part of the overall giving, except it comes out of the mayor's money. And not the budget where we go over everything. So I just make decisions on the small things.
Yeah.
I don't remember what else, but those two are most recent.
So, those were the things that I really wanted to bring up with this. Were there other things you wanted to talk about with the changes,
Oh, we'll
aside from,
go on
Yeah.
and approach the forum and then we can talk. The next meeting's
Yeah.
July the 8th, and we can review the forum and discussion on how to proceed from there.
what platform do you use to make the forms?
It's, yeah.
Yeah,
That's great that they can't change.
Yeah.
We can.
It's embedded,
Absolutely, yeah. for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's embedded, okay.
Thank you. Okay, upcoming village events.
Canada Day, our Village Canada Day is coming
Thursday, June
June
19th.
the 19th,
Oh,
June the 19th. And we're busy hoping to get some pavement down on Michigan, things like that, and then getting grass cut and beautifying towards that date. And then Canada Day, that we sent, as I said, we spend money towards, July 1st. Has the regular parade that starts at 11:30 through the park and the fireworks, and so that's the reason why we do our own. Is so that when then our residents are freed up to be able to go to the parade and the fireworks. Right, that's why we always do it, and Brights Grove does the same thing, they do a separate
Yeah.
one. I think Petrolia does
yeah,
too.
Yep.
they do. They
Yeah,
do
because
it.
Wyoming as well.
I've heard some comments about why are we doing it, that we do it separately. And then at the meeting, or at the event, we also, recognize the giving with our casino money, which we're obligated to do. So the casino people come and we say, here's how this part of that program, the recognition program, how did we spend our money? So we'll talk about the road project or whatever. 1 year was a fire truck, whatever we focus that casino money on, we acknowledge it at Canada Day event, and that takes care of our obligation of time.
That's good.
Yeah. And they've come every year to the tournament. They come every year to the event and give us the giant check.
Oh, and they just mentioned it was $1,500 again. On the Canada Day, if you remember.
1,500?
Yeah,
Who did that?
I think from casino.
Oh, they did. Yes, they did. They did to us,
Yes.
to our Canada Day. I was still focused on
Mhm.
the Sarnia one.
Oh,
Yes, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. So that came from them, not out of the money that we got from them.
Fantastic, thank you.
Oh, and I'm sorry, one more. The car show, the last Friday in June will be the second of the series. Vintage in the Park. So last Friday was the one and the next one's the last Friday in June. 29th or? Let me check that date.
27th.
27th, June 27th. Car show.
Okay, review of the financial statements for the period ending May 31st, 2025.
I didn't have any questions.
Then I will move that the financial statements for the period ending May 31st, 2025 be received and filed. Our next meeting date is, for the Finance and Administration Committee will be held July 8th, 2025 at 2:30 PM. And you can adjourn. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No,